Meghan's Lemonada trailer has arrived. It's just coming faster and faster now. And from the sound of it, I think this is going to be an even more catastrophic flop than With Love Meghan was. Let me show you. Hello and welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad to see you guys today. I hope that you guys are all having a really good day. So this is not the video that I was bringing you today, but this is the topic that we need to talk about because we all knew it was coming. Confessions of a Female Founder with Meghan comes out on Lemonada, April 8th, 2025, and today's the day that the trailer came out. And oh my goodness, I am going to tell you why this podcast is also in trouble. And these look like little troubles here right now and little troubles there, but eventually all these little troubles are going to band together to make a really big trouble, where no one is going to be interested in what she comes out with anymore. This is historic, you guys. We are seeing a historic moment, and none of us can look away because we have this person in history now who was blessed enough to be welcomed in as a member of the royal family like it's a fairy tale. And they not only left, but burned a lot of bridges, and this is what they're doing. If you ever asked yourself the question, if I had all the money in the world and all the influence in the world, would that buy me anything I wanted? The answer is no. This is a resounding no. So, here we go. Let's go into the trailer for Confessions of a Female Founder with Meghan. And I'm going to tell you why this 8-episode podcast is not coming back. Well, unless they already pre-recorded part 2 and they're going to tell us it's a season 2. Always a possibility. So here we go.
I'm Meghan, and this is Confessions of a Female Founder, a show where I chat with female entrepreneurs and friends about the sleepless nights, the lessons learned, and the laser focus that got them to where they are today.
Okay, so we're getting our very first taste now of what is going to be in Meghan's podcast. And I'm going to say this with all due respect. I'm sure these women are lovely. It's commendable that they have started businesses and found success in that. But I'm going to very bluntly say, as a concept for a podcast, unfortunately, nobody cares. Who is the audience? Here's the big problem. Starting a business is a huge pain in the butt. It just is. There are so many things that you have to do that most everyone doesn't want to do, where you're just getting through checklists being like, okay, I have to do this. Got it. I have to do this. Okay, when do we get through this one? Like, when do I get to do the thing I really like to do here? And because of this, because starting a business is so tedious and it's annoying, there are so many resources out there to help you get through it. You can get this information at university. You can go to a trade school. You can take people's courses. You can go to YouTube and get walkthrough guides on how to do each step of the process. And these resources exist out there not because this is a really fascinating topic, like, ooh, what am I doing today? I'm gonna go over to YouTube and just check out some how to start a business tutorials. They're there because you need the information. They're there because it's a resource. It's a resource that you need, and then when you're done, you don't wanna need it anymore. So you've already got this topic that is a necessity out there because you need it to start a business, but it's not a fun topic. And then you have this side. The reality is that most people don't start a business, and the people who do start a business, most of them give up before they reach the end, and most businesses fail. I'm not trying to be a downer about that. I'm just trying to say this topic of talking about founding businesses is already not an interesting topic, and it's not one that most people can identify with, and many people identify with it in a negative way. So to have a podcast where you talk about this topic, I can't understand who's going to be interested in listening to this. Because if you want to listen to her podcast because you're a female and you think that you're going to get tips on how to be a founder, go to YouTube, go to school. This is not what that's going to be about. And if you're someone else that doesn't have an interest in hearing about business formation, this is a really boring topic. Like, who came up with this one? And if you're someone who's ever started a business and you know how time consuming that is, and you know that all you want to do at the end of the day is go be with the people you love and go do something fun. You don't want to hear a single thing about business anymore. This would not be something that you'd want to turn on voluntarily and be like, let's listen to this topic that I don't want to hear a single more thing about.
We're diving into the highs.
It just started climbing and climbing and climbing. And there was 5,000, 10,000 people on our website. And I called Roger and said, what's going on?
That laugh. Meghan, that laugh. I get it. You got to make the podcast interesting. But I'm just getting that feeling here that Meghan has not ever made a business before. I don't know who builds the businesses. Confessions of a Female Founder. Like, I'm guessing you want to say we're bosses, right? Females are bosses. But when this female's doing really well that you're interviewing, your reaction is like, hee 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 hee. I don't get it. Does not say boss to me.
And the lows.
I'm sitting there the next day. I've pissed off everybody. I'm broke. And no one's calling me.
Oh, no.
So here's the thing. And no disrespect to these amazing women that are on this podcast, because I'm going to guess that these are some pretty amazing female founders that have been found for this podcast. So I say this with all due respect, because it's hard enough to get an audience that wants to hear about business creation. And the only way to really get an audience that wants to hear about business creation and they will stay interested is to tell them a story of a brand that they not only know because it's globally gigantic, but a brand that they have a personal connection to. You know, the first thing that comes to my mind right now is the Steve Jobs story. And people will never tire of hearing that story because A, they have a huge connection to Apple. It's made a huge impact on our society. You have a personal relationship with it. And the story of Apple and how it came to be has become famous. And so it's nothing against this woman telling her story that can be the most interesting story in the world. It's the fact that you have to have an audience who wants to hear it. And to hear it, they have to have a connection to it.
And the kind of advice that turns small ideas into billion-dollar businesses.
I knew in that moment I'd rather stand for something than sell a whole ton of product and stand for nothing.
You have to detach from the outcome. You have to. It's a little bit like the way we talk to our children. It's, did you try your best?
So Meghan's also going to be talking on the podcast about the kinds of advice that turns small ideas into billion-dollar companies. And then some of the preview of that is, like we talk to our small children, just do your best. Now I could go technically on this or I could go emotionally on this. And I can't make either of them work. So technically I'd say small ideas don't usually turn into billion-dollar companies on the foundation of, like a child, someone just did their best. That's not usually what happens. And then on the emotional side, we're talking a little bit about business ethics, and we're talking about how to keep yourself emotionally together. Like, how do you separate yourself a little bit so that you detach a little bit from the process? Which still leads me to, who is the audience? Who wants to hear about this? Unless someone's in the middle of making a business, and this is not a good business tutorial. And if someone's in your audience and they're not making a business, why do they want to hear some of these specifics about detaching from the business? What's the motivation?
And of course, we're going to get some girl talk. Are you saying you're not single now? Have I missed something in the past couple weeks? What's happening?
Can we stay focused, please? Okay.
She probably thought she had to bring something to the podcast that would sell the podcast as an interesting point. And the hard part here is, if we don't know who your guests are, and we're just meeting them for the first time, we're not going to be very invested in their change of relationship. You know, if Meghan wanted to talk about a change of relationship on her podcast, people would be all ears because they're invested. They're invested in this story. They're invested in the royal family. They're invested in a history with Harry. But to be talking about some of these girl talk things with people that we may just be getting introduced to for the first time, and no shade to these women, I bet you they are super interesting. It's not about that. It's about how much does the audience know about the guest coming into it. And that determines how much they attach when we start talking girl talk. It's like someone told her, hey, you can do this podcast, but you're going to have to put in something juicy. And so she puts in random bits of the relationship status of her guest. Like maybe they don't even want to talk about that. Who knows? But she's got to put in something. And I also want to say, why are we giggling again? Why is she laughing to this extent about this woman's change in relationship? Like, it just feels so middle school. Oh my gosh, he looked at me. Hee hee hee. This is just a little off-brand for a female founder podcast.
And through it all, I'm building a business of my own and getting all sorts of practical advice along the way that I'm very excited to share with you.
The Meghan brand definitely needs some self-awareness. I'm just going to say what everyone is going to be thinking anyway. And say, we know, Meghan, we know you're going to take the tips and the tricks and the help from other brands and other people, and that you can't wait to share that with us and call it your own brand. Team Meghan, you've got to stop putting these types of things out there. You've got to stop handing it to the people. Don't make it this easy. And I'll add to that, Meghan's coming on to Lemonada, calling herself a female founder, and she can shoot her shot here like this. But if she puts out something like this, and then her brand as ever does not do well, this looks like a joke.
So join me for Confessions of a Female Founder from Lemonada Media, which, by the way, is also female-founded. Launching April 8th, wherever you get your podcasts. Let's do this, ladies. This is not Shark Tank. Think of this as Dolphin Tank.
Yes.
These are very friendly.
Dolphin Tank.
These are very friendly waters. It's all going to be good.
Okay, so we know the end here is just a little bit of PR to say, look, I'm Meghan. I'm not a shark. I don't swim through the ocean looking for blood in the water just to chomp down on something and spit it out. I'm a dolphin. I'm sweet. I'm playful. This is just more PR to try to refute the claims that come out on multiple continents about how difficult she is to work with and the bullying accusations. She's not a bully. She's going to tell us this in every single thing she produces. She's not a bully. She's a sweet baby dolphin. So on that note, I don't know who's going to listen to this. I can't figure out the audience. This is actually less audience friendly than With Love Meghan was. And that was a very difficult watch. So I think this is a full flop. I'm not even sure she's going to get the listeners just to hear the train wreck. I mean, just based off of this, I don't even want to try. But these are my opinions. What do you guys think? What did you think of the Lemonada trailer? Are you interested? Do you want to hear about Meghan making a business? Add your comment down below. Please keep hitting that like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much. I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your day or night wherever you are. And I will see you next time. Bye!